For sale, lease, or rent? Upon the decision of Purdue Calumet's Dr. Michael Moore, the radio and TV facilities will soon be in the hands of a local realtor. From the studio to the control room here, all the radio and TV equipment will be moved out, and a food franchise moved in.
I'm going to be opening a mini Burger King. Now, I don't know whether or not your photographer will get shots of this later on, but we're going to take the control room and make that the area where all the Whoppers are made. We're going to take the horses and put them in the back, and that's where they will be slaughtered, and that's where the meat will be made for the burgers. And I think this is something that all students need, is nourishment in the middle of the day.
Much of the decision to lease the studio was reportedly based on a comment made by the Communication and Creative Arts department head. Although he refused to appear on camera, he shouted to reporters outside of his office, "Why do we need a studio when getting a degree in radio and television at Purdue Calumet is a waste of time in the first place?" Graduate assistant Richard Underwood disagrees.
Well, Laura, I was shocked. I really was, because being in this department for 7 years and to hear that this degree ain't worth a is unbelievable. I'm shocked.
What do you think about that? What do you feel about Dr. Moore's comment? How does that make you look at your own degree?
Well, in the immortal words of Jim Reppert, he simply don't care, and I think that's bad. A department head should care about everything in the department, not just public relations and rhetoric.
According to Dr. Moore, the studio will remain intact until the spring of 1987. Although the studio space itself will be leased, the equipment will be stored in the AV department on the second floor of this building. It will be made available for students to check out on a weekly basis. From the studio at Purdue Calumet, I'm Laura Waluszko for PUC News.
He eats. I think they still had some cookies over there from the Alex Haley thing. Fresh chocolate chips. No, I'm serious. Because Vicky, oh, hi. How are you?
Okay,
Today I'd like to talk to you about irregularity.
from a realtor's point of view, what good is it going to be for you to be leasing a studio?
I didn't realize I was a realtor.
You're a realtor.
Come on, Jim, get in character.
She didn't tell me.
No, we did.
No, you didn't.
No, we did.
No,
we did.
You told me to sit down. You didn't say that I was a real estate agent. They did not tell me that They did not tell me that I was a realtor. But in the interim, would you like me to sing Blue Moon?
Oh, if you don't want to be.
No, I can be the real. Oh, I can be a mean realtor.
Yeah, you could.
I can be a mean realtor.
You want to be Mike Moore?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Props.
Well, no, I don't.
Makeup.
No, I don't need it. I don't
Well,
need it.
you choose. You want.
Oh, Roy, go to my office. Go to my office and get me a cigar.
There you go. Roy.
Please.
Roy. After my coffee.
We're rolling.
Again, where was I? What plans do you have for the studio as a realtor? What are you going to do with this?
I'm going to open a cigar factory for Northwest Indiana. I believe one of the most important things in life is to make sure that you enjoy yourself and have a lot of fun. As we all know, television has no meaningful purpose in everyday life, and that's why Dr. Moore has decided in his eminent wisdom to kibosh the whole program. So as a result, I have given him a home in Barbados, and he will be going there to study the philosophy of rhetoric for the next 5 years. She's become so popular, and why her classes drop in enrollment as the semester goes on.
Wait a minute. Wait. You're a realtor, not passing judgment on the department. Let's just get a simple. This is a simple interview. All we want is a salad. It's worth if you put a full table, it's more money. That's all I want. Sorry, your hand was in the way. That shot anyway.
Here, this one was?
Yeah.
Is that a good effect with the smoke, Judy?
Yeah,
I like it.
It's very good.
I liked it.
What type of answer would you like me to give?
Well, Jim, this is already ruined.
Well, we're gonna-
Might as well just go for it.
Oh, that was mine.
Okay, let's take it
What type
again.
of answer would you like me to give?
Just as a realtor,
I'm going to say, what plans do you have for the studio? You know, what are you going to...
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
all right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I mean, we can save all this stunning footage,
Boy.
but
My God, Debbie Hill's dead.
Okay.
We rolling?
okay, yeah.
Go.
Okay, what kind of plans do you have for the studio?
I have signed an agreement with the hierarchy at Purdue University Calumet. Chancellor Combs and I struck a deal. I'm going to be opening a mini Burger King. Now, I don't know whether or not your photographer will get shots of this later on, but we're going to take the control room and make that the area where all the Whoppers are made. We're going to take the horses and put them in the back, and that's where they will be slaughtered, and that's where the meat will be made for the burgers. And I think this is something that all students need, is nourishment in the middle of the day.
Okay, now what kind of realty shop do you own? I mean, it's quite unusual for someone to come in and lease out a studio on a university. What kind of situation is this? Is this something you run into all the time in your particular shop? Or?
Well, absolutely, because we serve as a front for organized crime in Northwest Indiana, and I figure this is something that we can do to uplift the morals of the community.
Well, how do you think it's going to affect the students, though? How do you see this as being detrimental in any way to them?
Oh, I don't really have any concern for the students. I'm just here to make a living. Now, I'm sure the students think that a college degree is going to be worth something someday. But as we all know, it's really rather meaningless when you consider that one day we'll all be dead.
And quickly, one more thing. What was your reaction to the doctor, to Dr. Moore, when he approached you with the idea?
Well, anytime Dr. Moore gets near me, I have a severe attack of gas. So I really had no opinion one way or another.
Thanks.
This is what
I can sit here and laugh.
This is what I enjoy most. You know, Judy, the more I think about it, the more I can put those in the circular file.
The circular video file.
Do you remember any